Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. As I was just about to start, I'm reminded by today's debate of the call that we have as a leadership of this country. And I would want, Mr. Speaker, sir, to start by thanking two people. One, Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to start by thanking one Raila Odinga. His ability over the years to bend backwards, to put this country forward, Mr. Speaker, has been a challenge to many of us. It is known, Mr. Speaker, and it is on record. I am one of those who many years have always opposed the leadership of Raila Odinga. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, having said that, I want to put the record straight. It is not because I have any justifiable reason. It is because, Mr. Speaker, sir, I've always been persuaded to think along ethnic and regional block, Mr. Speaker. But time has come to realize that this country is greater than any one of us, Mr. Speaker. The second person, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank is His Excellency, the President William Samoei Ruto. It is indeed, Mr. Speaker, a great act of statesmanship to take somebody, propose somebody who you've competed with for the presidency and say, I propose the name because I think he's qualified and deserves it. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I'm standing here, I look at the photos and the people sitting on the gallery, young people who are looking upon us for leadership to unify this country so that we can live a country united for them. Mr. Speaker, sir, the whole world is moving to become a global village. It is not lost to us, Mr. Speaker, that the strength and the strategic geographical position of this country will highly benefit if we have regional integration in the Greater Lakes region and indeed in the whole of Africa. Mr. Speaker, many a times has the President, His Excellency President Ruto said, it is time that Africans started taking their own matters in their own hands, and that must start by making a unified monetary unit where we can allow ourselves to trade without having to rely on foreign currencies like the dollar. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is the high time that we look at a statesman, somebody who is able to move this country, this continent forward, somebody who is prepared to sacrifice, and we know this person is embodied in the person of one Raila Odinga. And I want to agree with people. Mr. Speaker, sir, the losing of Raila Odinga is not a loss to himself, it is a loss to this country, it is a loss to the whole of Africa indeed. Mr. Speaker, history will judge us unfairly, as some of us have withdrawn to sectionalism, some of us have withdrawn to tribal cocoons and trying to champion their tribe's beliefs without telling the world the truth. There is no one tribe that can survive on their own. Mr. Speaker, sir, many have touted Usuguze Mulima. What is most unfortunate is that the Mulima, in its homogeneity, in the product that they produce, in the coffee, milk, and tea, we are not able to consume that. Our potential lies in the regional integration, not only the Mulima region, the whole of Kenya, but even extending this to beyond Africa. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is why I'm standing here as a proud Kenyan, to say that yes, Kenyans have realized that we have a potential as a country when we integrate everybody into the leadership of this nation. Mr. Speaker, sir, indeed unfortunate that some few people, for their own selfish reason, chose to celebrate the failure of one Raila Odinga because they believe that their political future lies in Baba joining hands with them. I want to tell them, oh, unto them, Mr. Speaker, we have woken up and we are no longer going to do tribal politics to befit one person. Mr. Speaker, sir, show me your friends, I'll tell you who you are. I've heard some people, my colleagues, without wanting to discuss them or name them, saying that they be removed from the chairmanship of committees. I would want to challenge them. Tell your community, as you are the chairman, what did you do for your community? Mr. Speaker, sir, it is high time that we must rise and be counted like Kenyans who look at the issues of this country, not as a tribal approach, but rather a holistic approach that takes care of political and moral obligation that we have to this young generation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I have decided to face the reality as it is. Somebody has said the survival of the Mulima depends on one person. I want to collect that assertion. The survival of Mulima depends on our able and ability to integrate with every person in this country, regardless of where they've been. That is the true position, and that is what we must tell everybody. Correct. This is the light of Mr. Speaker, sir. that we now move forward unified towards regional, towards world integration in the whole of Africa. I was in Angola the other day, Mr. Speaker, sir. I realized the potential that we have to do business in that country is huge. It cannot be, and it is not acceptable. At this time when everybody is moving towards making regional blocks, towards moving people together like the EU, like the United States, somebody is telling us, usichiguze mlima. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is not only outdated, it is retrogressive, and it must be condemned in the highest and the hardest political terms as possible. Tomorrow belongs to a future generation, and we have a political and moral obligation to ensure that we bring Kenya together, because Kenya cannot stand and divided into tribal cocoons. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also want to thank those who stood with Raila Odinga. Not because he's a Luo, not because he's a Kenyan, because he's a statesman who has the political experience and exposure to see things in a broader perspective. It might please my people, Mr. Speaker, sir, to say I oppose Raila. But then I'll have a political responsibility, and history will judge me so harshly that I did not make the right decision. And has been said here before, Mr. Speaker, a win for any Kenyan is a win for every Kenyan. We must now rise beyond petty tribal politics and say the problems that we face in this country are not tribal problems. They are problems that we can only solve as a unified country. As I wind up, Mr. Speaker, to give my colleagues an opportunity, I would want to take this opportunity to apologize to the Ma community. I had my governor made very retrogressive comments about them not wearing suluaris. Mr. Speaker, I heard even say, it is not what you do, it is who you follow. I want to put the record straight. It is what you do in terms of development. If you bring development to us, if you bring meaningful change to us, then we'll stand with you. It is the high time that we say this country is greater than any one of us, and we say united we stand in this country. We must fight for African integration, we must fight for globalization, and we make sure that Kenya is an integral part of that, not being put in ethnic balkanization, because that is outdated politics. Mr. Speaker, sir, I support.
Thank you. Next is Senator Onyonka Richard.